Yo, what's up? It's your boy T Will. We back here with another show today. Real Sports with T Will. We kicking off again for this great college football championship weekend. And we got a few things to get into, plus a little bit of NFL news. I wanted to talk about some things that I'm seeing. And we're going to start off right here with one of these Cleveland Brown beat writer. I believe his name is Daryl Ryder. And let's hear what he has to say.
This week, there's confidence now amongst everyone. Hey, this guy can win. Okay, the stats weren't great. We weren't great on third down. We can improve there. Like, we can pick apart some of the negatives and flip around. But this guy can help us win football games. And I think that knowledge within that locker room not only boosts his cachet, right? Because he's such an energy guy. He always has a smile on his face. Is always very positive, right? Now that multiplies within the locker room. And if he can keep going out there and making plays and they can win a couple of games, I'm telling you, Jonathan, something special could happen with this kid. And I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse here, but that's how this happens.
It
happens organically. You can't force it. It was great that Shedeur went on CBS before the game and said, yeah, I'm the guy you've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's all well and good. You got to back it up. And he knows that. And he backed it up yesterday. Now let's see if he can back it up next weekend against the 49ers.
No question about it.
Going into this week, there's confidence now amongst everyone.
All right. So you heard what he had to say. Now, let's get to it. Let's get to it right now. We got Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward going up against each other this week. And if everybody can just rewind a couple months back, Cam Ward was projected to go 1. Shedeur was projected to go 2. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that did not happen. Cam Ward obviously went 1 to the Titans, and Shedeur went 144 all overall to the Cleveland Browns. Now, there's many conspiracy theories, whatever people want to talk about, whatever. But now, none of that crap matter. We are here today, about 48 hours out from this game. And a lot of things are going to come of this game because these two were supposed to be 1 and 2. And we're going to find out on Sunday if, one guy is really better than the other guy, which guy has more talent than the other guy, right? And it was funny when Dillon Gabriel was quarterback because they were giving him grace, giving him time. And now that Shedeur's the quarterback, it's like, oh, this is it. Like, you got to prove it this week. This is the game. The Titans are terrible. You're hearing what the Cleveland media guys are saying. And it's like, dude, you do know that both of these guys are rookies, no matter how you want to slice it. And even though I followed Shedeur throughout his college career and I've seen that he got immense talent as a prospect, and so does Cam Ward, these guys ain't going to be come in and look like a 5-year veteran off the rip. Even if you go back and look at Drake May in his first season, he was having difficulty. The problem that Shedeur has is that he doesn't have the kind of investment in him that Tennessee has in Cam Ward. Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick. They invested millions and millions of dollars into him, and they at least going to give him a little bit more leeway. Now, I also heard that if Mendoza proves that he's really that guy, that the Titans may think about trading Cam Ward and getting Mendoza. Like, dang, do y'all really believe that already? Like, this dude, he ain't got no receivers, just like Shedeur. He ain't got no offensive line. He don't even have Quinshon Judkins. So it's like they're giving up on this kid already, trying to throw him away. And it's like, if it was a different kind of quarterback that maybe wasn't, in the sun a little bit longer and looked a little bit more preppy and was a little bit more reserved, and then open his mouth and speak, which both of these guys do, they would get a little bit longer chance. But it seems like and I don't know why this is, unless you're Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton or Mike Vick. If you are a black quarterback, your timetable is cut in half. I don't care how you want to slice it. You can say, oh, this and oh, that. No, it's the truth. So you're willing to go to Mendoza, who really just, until this year really blew it up. He's on the Indiana team that played a weak schedule, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out on Saturday. And we're going to find out if this kid can really play. But then even though if he plays well, it's not the NFL. These guys right here are ahead of any quarterback that they plan on drafting. These guys are on the field right now in the NFL. They're in the game playing in the NFL. They're already getting their feet wet. So basically what you're saying you're willing to do is get rid of both of them, start all over again, and start that clock all over again. Because if these two teams don't realize it, you need offensive linemen. You need wide receivers. You need running backs, especially the Titans. You need more help. Even if you do draft a quarterback, what is he going to be able to get the ball to? What is he going to be able to deliver the ball to? Who you going to hand the ball off to? And then also with the Browns, they can't just keep on running Judkins and running them and, shorten his career by just trying to work the hell out of him. And he ain't going to last that long. They need another back too. I mean, I know that they got Samson, but he don't seem like, he's a back that can, be a full-time back or at least a backup. Maybe he can catch screen passes, go out the wide receiver and stuff like that. But running the ball in between the tackles, he don't really seem like he's able to do that. So both of these teams have weaknesses, glaring weaknesses, especially at wideout, especially at O-line. So if you don't have an O-line to block and you don't have receivers to get open on a regular basis, I'm not talking about, they're open only on a couple of plays. I'm talking about guys that can get open every single play. Okay. And if you look at the teams around the league that are successful, the 49ers didn't have no top wide receiver, but they had a tight end that could get open and he can make plays, Kittle. And if you look at the 49ers game versus the Browns, you could see that just by them having Kittle and McCaffrey, they got two guys that they can count on that they can run their offense through. The Browns got Fannin, they got Judkins, but those guys aren't seasoned. They're fresh. So it's going to be interesting to see, after this game, what are people saying? Are they going to give up on Cam Ward? Are they going to give up on Shedeur after his third start? I'm not going to say I feel sorry for them because, they in the NFL, but it's unfortunate that it don't sound like they got the backing that a Jackson Dart had. Brian Daboll was so feisty about Jackson Dart. He went up in the blue tent ready to beat up the doctor because he wanted his quarterback to get in the game. That's showing that quarterback that, look, he really needs you and he really believes in you. Sean Payton, he really believes in Bo Nix, the Washington Commanders, they really believe in Jaden Daniels. Like, when you have a coach and a coaching staff and ownership and GMs that really believe in you, it takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders, but it also gives you confidence and belief that you can actually make a mistake and not get crushed for it. And I don't know if Shedeur, especially in the situation he's in, if he is in a situation where he actually can freely make mistakes and not get killed. Because it seems like he's a little bit gun shy because he's like, dang, I don't want to make that mistake. They're going to hold this against me. Dang, I don't want to throw that ball because if it gets picked, they might take me out. And if you got a player with his hands tied behind his back because he don't feel like he's able to make the play or he's able to make risk or he's going to get crucified for it, then he ain't going to be able to play to his full potential. And players know, and anybody that's been a player or been an athlete, when a coach don't believe in you, you know it. You can feel it. And, I just think it's just got to the point to where I don't know if, either one of these guys going to get a fair shake. Because number one, they said this was a weak quarterback draft. And number two, these other guys that are about to come out is who they, drooling at the mouth over for the next 2 years. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm rooting for both of these guys to do a good job and to see what they really got. Hopefully, able to let it rip and really show what their talents are. And maybe them competing against each other can make them both feel like, hey, I can let it go today. And then we let the chips fall where they may. But just rooting those guys on. And it's going to be really interesting to see after this game what the outcries are going to be. Get him out. He's overhyped, all this, all that. And the guy's only played 3 games. Like, it's crazy, man. Next up, we got the Ohio State Buckeye Sam versus the Indiana Hoosier, former Cal quarterback Mendoza. This game is a game that's going to have a lot of scouts at it because you got Mendoza, you got Sam, you got Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Arvell Reese. Like, Ohio State got, Caleb Downs. They got a whole NFL defense. So it's going to probably be all 32 teams represented at this game for sure. And I'm really interested to see how both of these guys play. I watched Sam play against Michigan, but Michigan is not really, they weren't really that good this year. They just not. And, coming from me being a Michigan fan, I'm telling you, we was not that good this year. And I think this is going to be the closest test to test them. But when I look at the season and I look at the matchups that I watched this year, I watched Oregon play Iowa and almost lose to Iowa. I saw Oregon go down a wire with Penn State. Penn State struggled. And then I saw Indiana go into Oregon and beat them, but it was a close game. The only close game that Texas had was, not Texas, Ohio State had was against Texas. And if I'm looking at it, Texas have NFL players all over their team. So the Texas-Ohio State game was NFL prospects versus NFL prospects. Now, when it comes to Indiana, I know they got a couple NFL prospects. They got some nice receivers and running backs and stuff like that. But I don't know how they match up against Ohio State and their elite players that they got. If I was to take a guess, I would say that Ohio State is going to win. But you never know what happens in football until players get on the field. And it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. This is a big game for Mendoza because this is going to be one of the toughest tasks at defense he's going to have to play against. And for Sam, it's probably going to be the toughest defense besides Texas that he had to play against. But I don't know if Indiana has the firepower to match Ohio State. I'm not saying they can't win. I'm not saying they're not a good football team. But I just don't know if they have what it takes to beat this Buckeyes team because, man, they got guns all over the field, man. They got wide receivers, running backs, tight ends that can catch the ball. They got D-line, they got linebackers, they got safeties, corners. It's just like however you want it, you can get it. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. It's going to be very interesting to see how this game go down. I'm going to be watching this one very closely just to see. I saw Sam. That kid don't look like he's scared. He been balling. I want to see what Mendoza does on the big stage because Sam, I believe he came from Alabama, and now he's at Ohio State. So he pretty much used to the big stage because everybody is always on Ohio State head because they're so popular. So I'm pretty sure he used to the pressure. But I don't know how much of pressure Mendoza is used to being at Indiana and being on this stage. Number 1 versus 2 playoff seedings on the line. And when pressure is up there, some players, they can get through it and some other players, they crack. So it's going to be interesting to see. Next up, we got the Georgia versus Alabama game. Now, Alabama went into Georgia and won that game, and it was close. But as I watched Georgia throughout the season in every game get better, they got better, they get better. And I think that dude Stockton is a baller. You know, I'm not going to say he's the best quarterback in the country, but he's a baller. The problems that I have with Alabama is they lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't seem like, they was that tough. But when I also look at Alabama, their quarterback, he's not really experienced like that, even though he's an older guy, but he hasn't had a long time being a starter. So when I look at that, I'm saying on this stage at this time, is he going to be able to perform on this level? And knowing that if you lose this game, you could be out the playoff. And Georgia's been struggling with Alabama. They know that in the championship game. And I think Kirby Smart, he's hungry. He wants to get the victory. And I'm pretty sure Nick Saban gave Kalen DeBoer some intel, insight, and things like that. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But is this like the Georgia football team of the past? No. Are they still solid? Yes. Is it the same Alabama team of the past? No. Are they solid? Yes. So we will see, tomorrow when that game starts to see which one of these guys, plays more poised, don't turn the football over, and who's actually going to come out on top. And these are potential future NFL quarterbacks as well. So not just Mendoza and saying we're going to have to check out these guys to see what they got. Next up, we got the Texas Tech BYU Cougars. I know Texas Tech invested a lot of money into this football team, but I also believe that BYU head coach is a great dang on football coach. I'm hoping that BYU comes in this game focused and ready to go. I don't know if it's going to be enough because McGuire is also a great coach. And with the talent that he has now and he's able to execute the game plan the way that he want to execute the game plan, we going to see what if Texas Tech is really a top 5 team or if BYU has been overlooked and they actually deserve to be in the playoff. Then this game is early, man. I think it's like 10:30 in the morning. I don't know why the hell they got that game coming on that early. It ain't even enough time for us to get up and get the grill going and get everything smoking. So, we can have a little brunch, lunch, barbecue ribs or something like that to be able to do those things. So we're going to have to figure that out. But this BYU Texas Tech game is pretty important for seeding purposes. And if BYU loses this game, they out. But if Texas Tech loses this game, since they're so high up in the seeding, they're going to be able to win. And next up, I got this CFP schedule or standings, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the interesting thing here that I have an issue with is the spot right here, the 12 Tulane group of 5 spot. They just need to go ahead and take the 2 top group of 5 teams and make a group of 5 championship. That's what you need to do. You need to get a group of 5 championship because they don't deserve to be in this bracket here. You said you want the top 13 teams in the country, or 12 teams, 13, whatever. And if you want that, you can't do that unless you actually have the top teams in the country in that bracket. And if you don't, then what's going to happen is that there's a team in there that should not be in there. And a group of 5 team is not on the same scale as any of these teams in this bracket. And hell, UVA, okay, if you want to say they should be in there, okay, if that's what you believe. But if you actually look at the top 12 to 13 teams, hell, you can even go to 15 teams. Tulane does not deserve to be in that spot. And I believe you're wasting a spot in a matchup because who's going to watch Oregon Tulane? Who's going to watch that? It's not a game. They're going to get blown out and then they're going to go home. So instead of them letting them get embarrassed like that, you know, and even Tulane, they can believe all they want to believe, but they're not on the same caliber as Oregon. It's a waste of time. We need to, because this is, to me, when you put a group of 5 in this spot right here, this is a prime example of a participation trophy. That's all it is. Hey, we just want you guys to be a part of this, even though we know y'all have no shot at all to win anything. You know, there may be one team every once in a blue moon like Cincinnati that actually can make it to the playoff, but what did they really do? Nada. So my whole gripe with this college football playoff thing is that if you're going to have the top 13 teams or 12 teams, 14, 15, whatever you want to call it, do not just look at records. Just don't do that. Because to me, Texas is getting penalized for playing against Ohio State in the beginning of the season. And, you know, at least they scheduled, you know, Ohio State and not Southeast, West, North, East, South University to play against. They actually played a football schedule. And to have a group of 5 team in here is a slap in the face, is a waste of time, it's a waste of a game. If anything, you can have a group of 5 playing, turning, or like I said, just have the top 2 group of 5 teams play, and that's the group of 5 championship. But that's what y'all get. Y'all get y'all little payout, whatever the payout is, the money thing, whatever. Y'all get that payout for that, for winning that. And then y'all go on about your merry way because y'all don't deserve to be in this playoff. If you want to be like pro sports, if you want to be like the NFL in any kind of way, then you put the best teams in, not just based on record. What did you do? Who did you play? Who did you have on the schedule that you actually beat? Right? And then we can go from there. But until then, man, I feel like that 12 spot is just wasted. And I would rather have a Miami, a Texas, any other team that's a Power 4 school in there besides Tulane, because Tulane is not going to win that game. If they win that game, shut up. But listen, man, you already know that Dan Lannon is not going to let Tulane beat him. That would be embarrassing for him if he let Tulane beat him. There's no way that any coach at Oregon, Oklahoma, Ohio State, or any of these, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, they're not going to let no Tulane beat them. Period. They're going to try to beat the brakes off of them. So that's my gripe with that. And, you know, we'll see. But that's the end of the show for today. If I got time tomorrow, you know, I might do, you know, a little bit of talk about the NFL, or I might just recap after the game is over, depending on, you know, how much free time I have just working with cybersecurity and dealing with my kids. You know, this is a hobby for me, like I told y'all. And if you like the content, like, share, subscribe. And if you got any suggestions, anything that, you know, I think I should talk about or stuff you want to hear, let me know. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a wonderful night, evening, whatever, wherever you at. And I'm going to see y'all later on.